In NBA Supercoach, we're talking power forwards. We're talking about those complementary big men, and there are some fantastic options across NBA Supercoach this year. We're going to be talking about all the well-owned ones, and we're going to give you a couple of pods to keep your eye on 8 days away from the NBA tip-off. G'day everybody, welcome back to Ball Logic Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I'm your host Braino, joined by Horse in the studio, and we're talking about the power forwards, Horse. And again, I know that you like talking about centres, you like talking about big men that snag a board or two, and there's a few that fill that category in this one.
Yeah, 100%. There's a few that are kind of going under the radar too, which we'll touch on throughout this. But yeah, the power forwards can be big, can be, your three, so it can be complementary ball handlers at some stage as well. So, yeah, there's plenty of variation here when we're talking the power forward spot.
Yeah, there absolutely is. And, the beauty of it is we're approaching the tip-off for the NBA season. We're 8 days, I'm looking at the timer, 8 days, 14 hours, 13 minutes, 56 seconds. What a time. Really looking forward to kind of ripping in and just seeing some basketball. Thankfully, we've had pre-season to keep us warm. But if anybody wants to know our thoughts on pre-season, players that maybe have had roles we didn't expect, or just some things that we've taken and what we've learnt from the first week of preseason. We did an episode about that a few days ago. It does have a fantasy basketball feel about it, but for those of you playing NBA Supercoach, that's the same thing. We don't usually talk too much about rankings in that one, more so about roles. So very relevant when it comes to NBA Supercoach. But Horse, we should dive in. Before we do, for anybody who wants to join the free Unlimited League, it is 817-149. That is the code, 817-149. Win yourself a standard squeeze prize pack as the top scorer every single week. So jump on there. It doesn't cost you a thing. Take us on this year. We also have a couple of spots left open in our $100 head-to-head Supercoach League as well. So if you want to jump in there, insightleagues@gmail.com is the email to hit up, and we'll get you in. Mate, let's kick things off, hey? And, of course, we'll preface the start of this episode by saying that we won't be talking about the players that either start as centre or start as a small forward, power forward dual position. We'll be just talking about the PF first in the connotations for the players' game tag or the players' tag. So that kicks us off, mate. We'll skip, obviously, on most owned on Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey because they're both small forward first. But Jalen Williams, backup centre at OKC. You look at him, and as a fan of NBA, you go, no relevance there. But it's a bit of free money to kick things off.
You dig into the numbers, Braino, and as alluded to by the good members of the NBA Supercoach community, this guy averaged 12.7 points last year, and realistically, he should be priced at, $7.8 million off rip. So Supercoach have messed up here, and we've effectively got Jalen Williams, yes, the lesser Jalen Williams on the OKC crew, for $4 million less than probably what he should be priced at. So a nice little steal there for us.
Yeah, and $4 million, he doubles in price. You think about AFL, NRL, BBL, a lot of these players come in, and if they doubled in price in that format, you'd be bloody stoked with how much money they've made. So Jalen Williams will automatically do that if he does exactly what he did last year, and I think there's every chance of that happening. He also looked pretty good in preseason, so you never know. You never know what would happen. But 36% owned. There's a reason for that. It's because Supercoach have mucked up that pricing. So get him in your team as a bottom dollar option to then facilitate the rest of your squad. Giannis Antetokounmpo, mate, I don't know how much we need to talk about Giannis. We've spoken at length about how much we like him this year, and it's more a matter of, it's him versus another guy we'll talk about a little bit later, and then a couple of other big men in Jokic and Wemby. You can't have them all. Where's your preference lie in terms of Giannis versus the other guys?
Well, I don't want to let too much slip because we are going to be putting a lot of information, a lot of news out within our Patreon. Link is in the description below. But Giannis will be my week one captain, Braino.
Look, I can't argue with you at all. He's the second highest scorer last year behind Jokic himself. He doesn't have a 2-game week to start, which is very nice. Jokic does. And I think just in no Dame Lillard, and Milwaukee look like they're going to be pretty ordinary, but that doesn't necessarily matter in Supercoach. It does in fantasy if you're worried about a full-length season. But I'll tell you what, he could do some big things. It looks like he's... are we looking at triple-double Giannis potentially this year as a primary ball handler, bringing the ball up the court? His passing game looks like it's improved as well over the off-season.
Yeah, it definitely has. And if today's game was anything to go by, a few points, rebounds, assists, he was, the primary ball handler alongside KPJ. The ball is just going to live in his hands, which means more opportunity for us to get points out of him. So load up.
Absolutely. And the stocks are great as well. And we know in Supercoach, of course, they're double weighted compared to points, rebounds and assists. So, yeah, if you can get some steals and blocks and he averages at least one of those in each game, both of those categories, there's an automatic 4 to 6 points, I think, just in stocks alone. So, wheels up Giannis. He's definitely in my team at the moment as it stands. As we move through, mate, Colin Murray-Boyles is the next. He's obviously 31% owned. He's a rookie, 4.6 mil. Got the centre power forward duel. Looked good in his second game. I'm just concerned about the minutes. I just don't know whether the minutes are going to be there. He'll make money because most of the rookies will make money. It's just more a matter of are there better options in that position. Look, we'll talk about small forward another day. But I'd probably prefer a couple of those small forward guys, eligible guys at power forward personally out of the rookies. How do you feel about Colin Murray-Boyles?
Yeah, I don't really like it. And for the simple fact, I was hoping to get a good look at him today in the Toronto versus Washington game. He didn't suit up. So I'm not about to pick anyone that I haven't really seen any game footage on, but he traits very similarly to Walker. Is it Jabari Walker from the Indiana Pacers? 6'7", power forward, undersized power forward. Yeah, he'll get you some points and some rebounds occasionally, but when we're weighing up players who are going to generate the most amount of money the quickest, I think there's better elsewhere.
Yeah, I think there is as well. There's a couple of guys that went higher in the draft than Colin Murray-Boyles, and Jakob Poeltl hasn't played any preseason yet either. So it's their main big man hasn't featured. So it's hard to get a gauge on exactly what the minutes look like there. But I'd naturally think he probably plays off the bench, and he might play 18 to 20 minutes, and that's fine. That'll be enough at the price point. I'm just going to go in a different direction. I can't talk anybody out of it and say that he's bad though. Because he'll do a job at that price point, and that's kind of all you need him to do, really. So yeah, he's a pass mark for now, but I'll be looking elsewhere. Stay tuned for the small forward episode. There'll be a lot more relevance there. Paolo Banchero, mate, he's an interesting one. 15.46 million. We're definitely not talking chump change anymore. 26% owned though, so seventh highest power forward eligible player owned in Supercoach to kickstart the season. People are obviously hoping for a pretty big uptick in. Or maybe a downtick in negatives, because he is a very negative-centric player. Lots of turnovers, missed shots, average free throw shooter on high volume. So you're going to get the negatives with him. People are hoping for something better this year, though.
Yeah, they are simply not for me. You outlined, mate, that, there's too many negatives here. Missed shots, he does tend to shot chuck a little bit. And with Bain there as well, so Wagner, Bain, Banchero, I kind of like what Wendell Carter Jr. is doing in the preseason as well. There's a lot of ball to go around there at Orlando. And while, yes, Banchero is probably the number one there, probably not for Supercoach. I think there's better value at that price point.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his stats last year, and he averaged 25.9 points per game, 7.5 boards, 4.5 assists. Like he fills the stat sheet. He gets 0.8 of a steal, 0.6 of a block, which is great. But then we go to the negatives. He misses 11 shots per game, which is so I'm looking at it at the moment. Only Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Tatum, Luka have more missed shots. And then you've got 3 turnovers a game for a guy of his position as well is really not ideal. And you hit the nail on the head, just more mouths to feed in Orlando with Desmond Bain there. Franz Wagner's going to get his. There's just a lot of competition there to get the ball in their hands. So, yeah, probably at the price, I think he'll probably deliver $15 million worth of value, but that's not what we're looking for to start the season, is it?
No, it's not.
Not at that price. You want someone who's going to exceed that, hopefully. As we make our way down, Larry Markkinen as well, he's 12% at the moment, so a big drop-off from 26 to 12%. 11.12 million, I can understand the appeal of a Larry Markkinen as well. Obviously, a couple of seasons ago, he definitely looked a lot better. So last year, he only averaged, I'm just trying to get the stats up here, 17.9 points per game, which is, very average. But if we go back to 23-24, he averaged 25.8. So that's already an 8-point uptick the season before that. and then 27.2 the season before that. So we're looking at a guy who could be potentially underpriced by 8 to 10 points, Horse. Is there a reality that he can match that?
Yes, but in what world do Utah not take, or in what world do Utah not try and get the ball in the hands of Ace Bailey a lot more now? So when we're talking Larry Markkinen, yeah, he might make 2 or 3 mil, happy days, but at 11 mil, like, are you going Laurie, or are you going spending 1 more mil and getting a Denny Avdia? Or there's better value at that price point for me. I know I've said it before with a couple of other players, but I think if you go with Lowry, you're probably stuck with him for a little while. It's just that awkward price range. Yeah. Whereas, you've got your Derek Whites, you've got your Denny Avdias, who, for me, offer much more upside in that price range than what Lowry offers.
And also, Utah have a 2-game week to start. So, I'm assuming you've got Larry Markkinen on field starting, on court starting. So,
yeah, 11 mil's too much to have on the bench, yeah.
Yeah, especially with your week 1 team. That 2-game week, Utah's schedule's pretty ordinary to start. Utah also suck. But and to come back to your point, I think Larry Markkinen gets his initially. He's their guy. So I don't see anybody else grabbing the ball. He'll just shoot as many shots as he wants to until he goes, yeah, I'm done for this year. But there's a very real chance he gets traded too, right? So he could end up in a better position. I'd probably just rather have a look and see what it all looks like first. And just as a guy that he's a bit of an awkward price. If he was sub 10 mil, I'd be happy to take a punt. But yeah, we're talking 11 mil now. Yeah, it gets a bit awkward. And the 2-game week solidifies it for me. Initially, I was keen, but yeah, when you look at the schedule, it's a no to start.
For sure.
As we make it our way down the list, mate, now we're into the sub 10% category. Noah Essengay. I have zero interest in Noah Essengay. Barely any role there for him. Bench role at best in Chicago. So we'll let that one through to the keeper. We said we were going to have a chat about a couple of pods each that we like, mate. Where did you want to start?
Well, as much as I'd love to bring up the singing attributes of Alex Tui, it's not going to be him. Anthony Davis. You want to start with Anthony Davis? Before we go on Anthony Davis, I'll ask you a question. Are eyebrows considered facial hair?
Oh, good question. I mean, on a technicality, it is.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below. But anyway, back to basketball. Anthony Davis is someone that you absolutely should be targeting. 33.9 points per game last year. He's unreal. Good efficiency around the rim. He gets blocks. He gets steals, boards, points. Has shown an ability to assist the Rock as well. Does a little bit of everything. No Kyrie Irving for the majority of this season. Cooper Flagg does come in. They're your number 1 and 2. Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis at, 21 mil? Week 1, 3 games, lock him in.
Here's a question. Firstly, love it. And Dallas have a really nice schedule to start. If you want access to the full schedule, we did an episode on it, and we also have a graphic. You can just become a free Patreon member. You'll get access to that. Here's a question for you, Horse. Anthony Davis or Victor Wembanyama? Because there's an $800K difference, next to fuck all difference between these two players. Who's your pick?
Do I have to pick? Because I've got both.
Yeah. Hey, if you got him, Giannis, and Wemby, the rest of you're going to have to find some good cheapies. And
You'll see it in the Patreon.
I've done the same thing. I've found a build that I kind of like. I don't have Anthony Davis in my team at the moment. I have someone else, but it's pretty tricky to fit in 3 guns that are over 17 million. So you're going to have to make sure you go to a good accountant and get them to dodgy up some tax returns for you to get these guys in. Pascal Siakam's mine, mate. The first one anyway. I think that I know you're a big Andrew Nembhard fan, but I'm a big Pascal Siakam fan. I think the usage is going to go through his hands more than Nembhard, just to start the year anyway. 14.6 million as well is obviously what he was priced on last year, right? And we know he had a bit of a down year last year. He wasn't anywhere near as good as we know he can be, as he was when he went to the Pacers that halfway through the season a couple of years ago. Of course, he's not at the Toronto Raptors anymore, so he's not just going to get fed the ball. But if there's a year where Pascal Siakam is the main number 1 guy on the court, it's this coming year. No Halliburton out there, like you mentioned. There's a lot to like, and I think he has a really fantasy-friendly game. He can get you boards, he gets stocks. He's going to be the number 1 scoring option on this team until they maybe shut it down. Who knows which direction they go there. But yeah, a bit of an awkward price, 14 million. But I don't hate Pascal Siakam as a starting option as well, and the same ownership as Anthony Davis at that 5%. It's very different to footy, isn't it? Where we're used to kind of going and looking at sub 15, sub 20% and go, yeah, I don't really love any of these. But honestly, I could pick 20 players in the comp at the moment that are sub 5% owned that I'd be happy to start with.
Yep. So I'm going to correct myself here. It's Jerace Walker, not Jabari Walker, as I stated earlier. So
Good job.
For those that got in earlier, yep, you got me, but it is Jerace Walker.
Mate, any other pods are you looking at the moment? Power forward?
The Memphis situation and the injuries that are mounting there, I want to get a look at GG Jackson. So there's no Clark, there's no Jackson, there's no Triple J, there's no Morant, and there's no Edie. So straight off the bat, you're missing 4 players out of potentially their best 8. We've seen GG Jackson in the past come in, fill a void, score a heap of points. He can get you steals. Doesn't really offer too much outside of that, but at 4.2 mil, if he's starting or getting his 20 to 24 minutes a night, he could make us some really quick cash that we can move off relatively early.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Supercoach. You know, you've got max trades. These guys that are little 4-week plays are perfect. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a bit of an awkward timeline as well. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 6. And Memphis injury reporting has been an absolute dog's breakfast. It's rubbish. I think Ja Morant will be good to go for the season, so that's one more player you have to consider in that scenario. But yeah, Triple J, Zach Edey. Santi Aldama's also a really good shout. I think he's a small forward starting player though, Aldama. So we'll have a chat about him at another. He is a power forward starter. He's 0% owned at the moment. So yeah, maybe we'll throw him in there in the little list of people to talk about. But I think Santi Aldama's probably the one that gets the biggest opportunity there with those guys out. Because he can play small ball 5 as well as can fit in at the 4 and the 3. So, kind of don't mind that. I can't believe we nearly didn't talk about him. That would be disgraceful. Matrix would be filthy with us if we didn't talk about Santi Aldama.
He'd be angry.
What about Nikola Jovic from Miami, mate? 8.4 mil. He's got the power forward center duel, which is handy. There's so many small forward power forwards in this game, but not many power forward centers that are under 10 mil. But 8.4 mil seems value, especially it looks like he's going to be starting. Kalel Ware's minutes are up in the air. Fuck, he's looked good though the last few weeks. It's first couple of games in preseason, Kalel Ware's looked massive, but Jovic has looked really good as well. And it looks like potentially Spo's going to be leaning into a lineup that looks like Bam at the 5 to start and Ware off the bench, which means Jovic gets the 4. And that looks like that's been impacted by Jovic specifically impressing Spoelstra.
Yeah, love it. Showed flashes last year. He can rebound the ball, assist the ball, score the ball. Percentages aren't great, so don't expect him to go at over 50, 60% each game, but just gives you a bit of everything. And at that price point, it could provide some real value, especially with that hero early in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree with you there. Other power forwards to mention, I guess we probably just talk about Aldama before we wrap this one up, hey? Look, and also, first of all, if we missed anybody, drop them in the comments. Obviously we're not scrolling down 300 players deep in these shows, just giving you an idea on our thoughts on the top-owned guys. But we did a full pods episode as well, if you want to go and check that out a little bit later. That's probably about a week ago now. Santi Aldama, mate, we talked about Memphis. We talked about who they're missing. Got a pretty fantasy-friendly game when he gets his opportunity too, right?
Yeah, absolutely, he does. Can stretch the floor, gets boards, has a knack to get some stocks occasionally as well. So I really like that play, Braino.
Yeah, he's looking, and there's a lot of games here where you can tell, obviously, when he's playing off the bench and his minutes are crap, and you look at last year's numbers, he can put up a 30-35 game. There's a lot of 22 to 26 scores from last year, 28, 24, 30, 28. You can see when he gets his opportunity, he takes it. And he's got it. It's wide open to start the year for Santi Aldama. It's more a matter of when it drops off, you need to jump off because he just doesn't have the opportunity, doesn't have the minutes. But when he gets the minutes, he's a fantastic option. And he is a couple of mil cheaper than a few of the other guys that we've been talking about at small forward as well that are probably alternative options in those positions. So, Don't mind Santi Aldama and Jovic as well if you want someone even cheaper that gets you these guns that we talked about earlier. He was Santi Aldama was averaging nearly 21 points per game after round 9, and we know that Ja Morant missed the first 25 games of the season, whatever it was last year. So then he dropped off a cliff from there. So you know what
Yeah,
you're going to get with him. It's more a matter of whether you can extract as much cash as you can in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Just before we wrap it up too, Braino, a couple of people from Boston who I'd like to shout out for people to perhaps consider, and that's Chris Boucher.
Yep.
And Sammy Hauser comes in as power forward, small forward, believe it or not. So if today's practice or preseason game's anything to go by, Sammy Hauser, 15 points in 17 minutes, but doesn't offer you any peripherals outside of that. So you're getting him to shoot threes and score points. Chris Boucher, for those that have played fantasy in the past, know that he can fill it up. He can get your boards. He can get your stocks as well. I probably like Boucher a little more than Hauser, but with the limited depth that Boston have, could be a nice little play there.
I think there's every chance Boucher could play some backup 5 and backup 4 wherever they need him. Yeah, he's got a really I think he can stretch the floor and he can open the floor up for Derek White and Pritchard to get to the rim, and Jaylen Brown, of course. And he's quite versatile too. So for me, he's a good shot blocker. It's more a matter of are the minutes going to be there. I think that there's every chance he could play 26 minutes off the bench, which is plenty. He's a points per minute kind of guy as well. When he's out there, he's doing stuff. So, really like that play. 7.67 mil is cheap as well. It's priced at a 12. There's every chance to start the season. He could honestly score 20 points per game for an extended stretch with the opportunity there with no Tatum. So, yeah, kind of like that. And the backup centre minutes, behind what Namias Cater is probably going to be the starting centre. Luka Garza's floating around there somewhere, but these guys aren't locks by any means. Chris Boucher is every chance of getting more minutes than both of them.
That's right. Yep.
Power forwards, that'll do us. Let us know who you're looking at. Let us know if you want our thoughts on any of these players, and more so if you want more from us and you want to get access to us whenever you want, inside the WhatsApp, inside the Patreon, you want access to exclusive articles, draft boards, rankings, and everything else coming. We're going to be doing a Patreon Q&A that'll be exclusive to only subscribers, and that'll be happening next Tuesday night, the night before the first game of tip-off. So become a subscriber there. The link is in the description below. You'll also get Horse, Matrix and myself, our final teams in an episode there too. So you'll be able to see exactly where our heads are at. So less than $10 a month and you can become a subscriber, and it helps us keep the lights on and support the show. So we appreciate you watching regardless. Thanks for turning up. Thanks for getting involved. We will see you for the next couple of positional previews very soon. See ya.